Good morning. Okay. Do. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Just getting Instagram set up. I'm Josephine, and today I have kind of just a simple flow. Good morning. Uh, just to get out of our heads again. If you joined me last week, that was kind of the theme. And we might work up to Firefly, so a arm balance. Good morning, everyone joining on Instagram. Hi, Hannah. So yeah, grab your mat and some water, maybe a block or a pillow, bolster, whatever you've been using at home as a um, prop. And we're gonna start in a comfortable seat. So comfortable seat might just be cross-legged for you. Maybe Siddhasana, where one foot is up on the opposite thigh, or maybe just a plain crisscross. You can also sit up on a block or a pillow if your hips would like a little bit more space. Let's place the hands on the knees, palms facing up toward the sky, and gently closing your eyes. Noticing if you naturally started to pay attention to your breath. Noticing the other subtleties that you started paying attention to. Let's slow our breath down. We'll inhale for maybe a count of 2 to 3 in your head, and then exhaling for anywhere from 5 to 10, wherever you are in your breath practice. So inhaling through the nose, and let's exhale through the nose as well. And just repeat that a few times. If you'd like to do any ujjayi breath, that's just a light restriction of the back of the throat, and it makes an ocean-like sound. The vowel is ah. Let's say maybe 2 to 3 more times through. Paying attention to if you're holding any tension in the throat or the chest as you're slowing the breath, holding it. Really try to work from the abdominals. And as you're finishing off the last round, let's find just a natural pace of breath. So, whatever that looks like for you. And one that you can maintain throughout class. So, it doesn't have to be your deepest inhale and deepest exhale every time. It's something you can keep slow and steady. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. If you haven't already, starting to feel the ground beneath the hips support you. Becoming aware of each point of the body that's touching your mat. And becoming aware of all the length in your spine, softness in the jaw and the back of the head. And starting to just check in with each point of the body. And again, similar to keeping an even, slow, steady breath throughout class, trying to check in with all the subtle areas of the body as well as the big ones, hips and jaw, and checking in with those and making sure you're not carrying any unnecessary tension. We'll slowly fold our palms together at heart center, taking a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Exhale. Let's inhale, reach the arms up toward the sky. You can keep the eyes closed. On the exhale, interlace the fingers, rotate the palms up toward the sky, dropping the shoulders down from the ears. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, round through the spine, pushing the arms forward. Inhaling, reaching up. And exhale, round. So it's almost like a little cat-cow, but seated. Inhaling. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, keep the hands interlaced. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's meet over, twisting toward the left. And then, if you like, you can release the hands. The right hand will grab a hold of the left knee, and the left hand can reach back. Maybe the gaze shifts past your left shoulder. Inhale, start to slowly unwind, reach the arms up. And then exhale, take the twist over toward the right. Growing taller with each breath in. Each breath out, feeling where the hips connect down to the mat. And inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, side bend toward the left. Keeping the opposite hip rooting down into the mat. Maybe shifting the gaze upward. And exhale, round forward. And take that on the other side, a big side stretch. One more breath. Exhale, rounding. And again, either a side stretch, or if you found the sweet spot where you get a nice low back stretch, you can stay here. And exhale on the other side. Inhaling, center. Exhale, walk the hands in. Let's come on to the knees and take a similar side bend stretch. We'll take gate pose. I'm rolling my wrists though really quickly if you want to join for 2 breaths. Inhale. And then exhale, switch directions. Inhale, interlace the fingers, and then make figure 8s with the wrists. And switch directions. Inhale, start to extend the left leg off to the side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, side bend over toward the left. So notice how this feels a little bit different now on the knees with the leg extended. Opening the heart. Should feel really good if you're doing a lot of sitting, which I think most of us are in quarantine. And inhale, reaching up towards center. Exhale, if you need a block, you can place one underneath this right hand. And then take the side bend all the way toward the back of your mat or whichever way you're facing. Kind of keep this shape in mind when we do extended side angle in Warrior Two. So this is a really similar shape that you should be in. Noticing the top shoulder, try to draw it down and away from your ear. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to lift back up. Release the hands to the hips. And let's take it on the other side. So extending the right leg. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, side bend toward the right. And breathing into any tightness. Letting the ribs expand naturally. Last breath, in and out. Inhale, reaching both arms up. And exhale, bending over toward the left. Again, if you need a block underneath, place one there. And if you kind of subtly shift your hips forward, you might feel a nice opening through the hip flexor, almost the psoas area. Just explore for a couple of breaths. Inhale. And exhale, dropping that shoulder down and away from the ear. And your next inhale, reaching all the way up and release the hands to the hips. Let's come to all fours for just a couple rounds of cat-cow. We got into the spine a little bit before. I just noticed my cat has some paw prints on my mat, which is really cute and endearing. But someone's been on my mat. Inhaling to arch, looking up toward the sky, and exhale to round. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do just one more time. Inhale, meeting at center. Tuck in the toes. Start to lift the knees off of the mat, hovering. Noticing what your shoulders are doing. If you're kind of collapsing through the shoulder blades, think about pushing down and away, almost doming through the upper back. Core is really strong. Inhale. Exhale, start to lift the hips up really high and then walk the feet back, downward facing dog. Pedaling, moving from side to side. Checking in with your alignment, especially in the upper body, making sure that the ears are in line with the arms and you're not kind of thrusting your head too far forward. And then also, I've been really mindful of not overly extending through my shoulders, so kind of hyperextending in my back, to kind of imagine keeping the spine neutral and normal, so you don't want that overarch. So almost think of drawing yourself slightly forward. Inhale, take a deep bend through the knees, shift the gaze forward, walk or hop forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, palms together, Samastitihi. Inhale, reaching. My hands always get, my ceilings are, what are they called? Slanted. So I can't like fully reach my arms up. So if I ever look funny, that's why. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, plank pose. Hold for 2 breaths. Relax the jaw. Your next exhale, lowering all the way down to the belly. Inhale, low cobra. Keep the gaze down. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Opening up the heart. Inhale, stay in this low cobra. Noticing what the hips are doing or how the low back feels. If you feel any tension, just come down a little bit, easing off. Really rooting into the pelvis. Maybe hover the fingers or interlace the fingers at the low back. One more breath. And exhale, release. Pushing back to all fours and then downward facing dog. And we'll take that a few more times. Just some sun salutations to warm up through the whole body. Inhale, bend the knees, shift the gaze forward. 2 big steps or a hop forward, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms reach up, take up space. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, hinge from the hips, long spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, plank pose. This time hold for 3 breaths. Think of your body as one long line, all the way from the crown of the head to the heels. Last inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down to the belly. And then once you're there, inhale, low cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Either stay here or interlace the fingers at the low back. Lifting the chest a little bit more if that feels okay on the spine. And then maybe bringing the heels together and lifting the feet. Inhale. Exhale, release. Shake out the hips. Option is to always come to all fours or push back into high plank and then exhaling, downward facing dog. So let's do that one more time, starting to feel warm in the body. Inhale, bend the knees, shift the gaze forward, walk or hop forward, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, move with intention, exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, take up space. Palms together at heart on the exhale. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plank pose, 4 breaths in and out. See where you can release tension. Notice if you're gripping your jaw. Last exhale. Lower all the way down to the belly. Very slowly. Inhaling, low cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Let's take locust and interlace the fingers. Maybe lifting the heels, bringing the heels together. One more breath. And exhale, release. Either all fours or high plank, and then exhaling, downward facing dog. Let's spend about 3 to 5 breaths here. I'm just gonna check in with my phone. All right, thanks for sticking with me. My phone should do okay, but I'm monitoring the battery too. All right, so we're still in downward facing dog. This time, let's inhale, lift the right heel up toward the sky. Exhale, knee in toward the nose, hold. Inhale, 3-legged dog or plank. Exhale, knee in toward the nose. Inhale, 3-legged. Knee toward the nose, footsteps down. Drop your back knee down and let's take a low lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale. Inhaling. Exhale, shift back, half splits. Exhale, come forward, plant the hands, runner's lunge. Slowly start to rise up into high crescent, keeping the arms down though. Then check in with your hips. So noticing if they're kind of off center, trying to bring the pelvis to where it's facing forward. And this right hip crease is drawing in towards your midline. Notice if you feel any strain in your back leg when you try to straighten the spine, you can always bend the knee. Reach the arms up, lean into the spine, relax the jaw. And just hold for one more breath. Exhale, hinge forward, hold, hovering over the thigh. And again, keeping those hips in line. So right hip crease is drawing in toward the midline. And then slowly release the fingertips down. Let's kick off of the back leg, walking the hands slightly forward and come into supported warrior 3. Inhale. Exhale, release. Forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk back, high plank. This time, if you want to take chaturanga, you can lower halfway. Inhale to cobra, or not cobra, excuse me, upward facing dog. And then exhale, down dog. But you can always take cobra and go on the belly for your vinyasas. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee in toward the chest. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee in toward the chest. Inhale. Exhale, knee in. Footsteps down. Drop your back leg down. Take a low lunge on this side. Reaching the arms up, 2 breaths. On your exhale, hinging back, half splits. Keeping the hips in line, so not scooching over too far toward the left. One more breath. Exhale, walking the hands forward, high crescent lunge. Keeping the hands down though, so checking in with the rotation of the pelvis. So the hip bones should be facing forward. Spine is long. Then again, notice if you're kind of overly arching through your spine. If you are, just bend your back leg. And then reach the arms up. Notice if you're kind of swaying or the ankle's wobbling. See if you can be really stable. Inhale. Exhale, hinging forward, hovering over the thigh, or actually reaching the arms forward. One more breath. Exhale, start to kick off with the back leg, come into supported warrior 3. Relax the face. Any tension in the shoulders. Exhale, feet come together, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bring the feet together, chair pose, Utkatasana. Drawing the sitting bones down towards your heels, leaning into the spine. Inhale. Exhale, palms start to come to heart. We're slowly going to make our way all the way into boat pose, Navasana. Shins will be parallel to the mat, feet flexed. And then checking in, let's grab a hold of the backs of the thighs, making sure that you're on the sitting bones and you're not flattening out through your low back. Inhale. Exhale, start to reach the arms forward. Breath in. On the breath out, we're going to kick the left foot forward and then slowly come down into a low boat. Hug the right knee in. Inhaling. Exhale, start to bring the left foot at more of a 45-degree angle. You can always bring it higher. And then we'll inhale, extend both the arms and the right leg. And then exhale, hug the right knee in. Inhale, extend. We're just staying on the right side. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. And then do single leg switches. Remembering to breathe. And then both knees come together. See if you can rock back up into boat. Inhaling. Exhale, start to kick the right leg forward. The left knee stays bent. And then bring the right foot at a 45-degree angle or higher. Inhale, reaching, bringing the left foot toward the right. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale in. You can either hug the knee or you can keep the arms hovering. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Good. Now maybe hover the arms toward the front of the mat as we do these single leg switches. Starting to feel the core a lot. Well, I shouldn't say starting. You probably have been. 2 more breaths. Good. See if you can pop it back up into boat. Inhaling. Exhale, cross at the ankles. If you want to do any jump back, you can into chaturanga or take a moment in this forward fold. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. I'm just going to adjust my mat. And once in downward facing dog, or back in downward facing dog rather, take 3 really deep breaths in through the nose. Similar to how we did in the beginning. So maybe inhaling for 3 counts. Exhaling for 6 or 8. Maybe going back to Ujjayi breath, or you can always sigh it out. Inhale, start to reach the right leg up. Draw the heel toward the bum and then open the hip. Maybe make circles with the knee. 1 more breath. Exhale, knee draws in. Hold. And then if you can tap the knee down to your mat without changing anything in your hips, bring the knee down, back in. Then bring the knee down and in. 2 more times. Last time. And then footsteps through. Let's come back into that high crescent lunge. So again, really stable. Noticing any ankle wobblings. See if you can engage the core a little bit more and really rooting into the big toe mounds of both feet. On your exhale, we're going to open it up into warrior 2. So external hip rotation. So our pelvis is opening toward the left side of our mat. Extending through both arms, reaching in opposite directions. Inhale. Exhale, hinging forward, reverse your warrior. Making sure to not open up too much like to a back bend for now. Just keep it a side stretch. And exhale, extended side angle. So this is the shape that we were creating in gate pose, but now we're on the foot instead of the knee. So think of keeping that ramp-like shape, so all the way from the left fingertips to the left heel. Hold. If you want to add on for 2 breaths, maybe hovering the bottom hand forward. Really firing up that leg. Inhale, back to warrior 2. Exhale, straighten the front leg, Trikonasana triangle. So you can release the hand to the shin or behind the foot. Just make sure that you don't come too far forward and you're out of line from the leg. So the upper body stays in line with the front leg. And you can easily measure yourself out. If your shoulder is way too far past your thigh, then you probably should come higher up on your leg. And extending through your triangle, creating space. Feel where you're grounding down through your feet. 1 more breath. Exhale, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. You might want a block or a pillow underneath this right hand. Starting to walk the left toes in and then float the foot. Make sure you can still see the toes though, so you're not kicking your foot past the line of your hip. Open the heart as much as you can. Maybe reaching the arm up. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more breath. Exhale, starting to slowly release how we got into triangle. And then our hands release down. Let's take a big step forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana chair. Inhale. Exhale, sitting all the way down, boat. Breath in, breath out, low boat. Keep the legs where they are, noticing all the muscles in between the hip bones, drawing them down toward the mat. So really strong, but then you should be able to breathe still. So noticing if you're holding your breath. You can either hover the arms forward or reaching them back. We're going to hold for one more breath. Inhale, lifting back up into boat. Super strong. Exhale, cross at the feet or the ankles, and then flow through vinyasa, and we'll meet in down dog. Again, maybe going back to Ujjayi breath. Checking in with your body. Inhale, lift the left heel. Exhale, heel toward the bum. Open the hip. Maybe making circles with the knee. Really firm grounding down through the left hand. One more breath. Exhale, knee comes in toward the chest. Hold. And then see if you can tap the knee down onto the mat without changing the shape of the hips. Inhale, squeeze it back in. Exhale, down. Inhale, back in. One more time. And then footsteps through. Rise up high, crescent lunge. And really strong, maybe feeling even stronger each time, especially as we're firing up the core. So noticing how it's all connected. One more breath. Exhale, open it up into warrior two. So again, reaching through both hands, growing really tall through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, reverse. Keeping the chest facing the right side of the mat. Inhale, unwind, not really unwind, extend, and then exhale, hinging forward. Extended side angle. So again, think of one nice long line all the way from the right fingertips down to the right heel. We're here for a few breaths. Last option is to hover the bottom hand for the last two. Breathing into that fire. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, straighten the leg, Trikonasana, hinging forward. Releasing the hand anywhere on this bottom leg or behind the foot. Finding extension of the arms, the chest. The heart is rotating up toward the sky. Two more breaths. Inhale, start to shift your gaze down. I like to place my hand on my hip just to keep it in line as I move into Ardha Chandrasana. Soft bend in through the left leg as you start to lift the right hip up. So really strong in this right leg. Foot is flexed. Make sure you're not kicking it too far past the line of your hips. So that will make you fall out of this pose too. And then when you're ready, extending the right arm up toward the sky. One more breath. Exhale, slowly releasing, lifting up, hands come to the hips. And then take a big step forward, shake it up. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, sit low. So keeping the hips as low as they need to go to keep your fingertips on the mat or the floor. And then keep your hips here. Come into chair for two breaths. One more breath. And then exhale, release into boat. I didn't pronounce my T. Inhaling. And exhale. So we'll do one more flow here in boat to really fire up the core. Inhale. Exhale, start to extend the legs, coming down into low boat. And then bringing the left leg in towards you, extending the arms. Bring the right leg a little bit closer down toward the mat if you can. And then we'll start to interlace the fingers except for the pointer finger. Start to twist over toward the left and then pulse like you're reaching for that left corner of your mat. And the shoulder blades stay off of the mat. One more breath. And then come toward the inside of the leg and pulse for 2 breaths. Good. And then big kicks. So straight leg switches. Once the right leg is in towards you, let's grab a hold of it. And then interlace the fingers, start to twist over toward the right, and then pulse. So imagine you're reaching for that right corner of the mat, the shoulder blades stay lifted. Stick with it. And then come to the inside of the thigh. Inhale. One more breath. Relax the jaw. And then straight leg kicks. Inhale. One more breath. Nice. Hug the knees in. Rock from side to side. Let's take bridge pose as a counter. So planting the feet a narrow hips distance. Lifting the hips up 1 vertebra at a time. Keeping the hands, palms facing down on the mat. Hands are off toward the side of the hips. Breathing into the core. One more breath. And on your exhale, slowly 1 vertebra at a time, lowering down. Let's rock and roll up and down the spine. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. So however you want to get there, check in on the devices and the time. And then take a few breaths, maybe in child's pose too, to give yourself a rest. All right. Thanks for sticking with it, everyone. And let's say maybe 2 more breaths in down dog or child's pose, whichever one you're choosing. And then when you're ready, we'll set up for dolphin. So forearms come down to the mat. If you're in down dog, you can practice dropping the forearms down safely or just come down onto the knees if you'd rather set up that way. And then just to check in, if you happen to have a block, this is a handy measurement. So you want to keep the elbows drawing in about a block's distance. So the more tired you get, the more they'll splay out like that. So try to keep the elbows drawing in toward the midline. Fingers spread wide, but try not to overly grip and tense up through the wrists. Start to lift the hips up, coming into a downward facing dog shape, but on the forearms. And the gaze is toward the toes. We'll hold for 2 more breaths. Strong in through the legs. If you can stay, we're going to start to add on, or if you need a little rest, just drop into the knees while I explain what we do next. We'll start to slowly hinge forward as we lift our right leg up. And then on the exhale, we'll hinge forward and try to tap the knee to the tricep. So we'll do that 4 times on each side. Breathing, that's the most important thing. Noticing where you're tensing up and knowing that we just have 4 breaths. So inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, knee toward the tricep. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee in. Inhale. Exhale. Last time on this side. Exhale. Meeting in dolphin. Releasing 2 breaths here at center. And then starting to move on to the other side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. Inhale, meeting in dolphin. Hold for 2 breaths. And then dropping down onto the knees. Maybe releasing the arms off to the side of the hips. Nice job. Fully releasing in this child's pose. Letting go of any tension in the hips and the upper body. And slowing your breath. We'll stay here for 4 more breaths or so. If you need to grab any water, go for it. Noticing any tension in your jaw. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Noticing how much more space you have in down dog compared to dolphin. If your shoulders still feel activated, breathing into that heat. Inhale, start to reach the right leg up. Exhale, knee in toward the chest. Foot will step toward the outside edge of your right hand. If this is going to be too much, because we're going to move into extended side angle from here, you can always place a block or a book underneath the right hand. Start to pivot your left heel down and move into extended side angle. Opening up the heart. If you can, keep the hand down. You can place it in front of the foot or behind. Inhaling and exhale. So from here, we're going to transition to the other side by rounding forward, straightening the leg, making sure the movements are intentional, protecting the knee, and then moving to the left side, extended side angle. Inhaling. Exhale. Let's do one more time on each side. Breath in. Exhale, coming forward. Opening up, noticing which side you have more space in. One more breath. And exhale back over toward the left. Exhale through to center. Coming into wide-legged forward fold. Starting with the hands just underneath the shoulders and move slightly forward, shifting your weight. And as we bend the elbows, hinging from the hips, engage the thighs, drawing the knees up toward the hips. Then placing the hands any way you'd like. So they can be in the middle of the feet, maybe grabbing a hold of the ankles. Or if you'd like to open up through the shoulders, interlacing the hands. If you're doing this option, try not to force anything, let gravity just help with the shoulder opener. Inhale and exhale. And releasing the hands if you had that bind. Inhale, come back into your halfway lift here. So bringing fingers underneath the shoulders. And then I'm going to walk us through firefly. So kind of our peak arm balance. So we've been opening up through the hips and engaging the core and the shoulders, which is kind of the 3 elements needed for a lot of yoga arm balances. So the thing with this one is I'll always say is it's a little less scary than like crow or any of the other ones where you might face plant. So this one, if you fall, you just roll down on your butt and there's really no risk of injury there. So just make sure though, as you're setting up, and sometimes this is hard to teach virtually because I can't see you, if this is just not happening, don't do it. And that's when you can actually injure yourself. So um, the key is, so see how I started with my feet narrow? Then I'm gonna weave my hands in between my legs and start to bend my knees. So you kind of start in this deep yogi squat. So this is where you might find that it's not accessible. If you can't get your hands down facing forward, then you probably don't want to do it. I don't advise students to try it with your fingers rotated at any other angle other than forward, like you're doing chaturanga. If you're here though, you might try to now shift your weight into the arms. So doing that, you're scooting your toes forward. So just ever slightly. And then maybe you try to hover one, maybe you hover both. And then you can try to extend the legs. So wherever you're at, and then coming out of it, you can make your way back into the forward fold. And I'll show it one more time because it can be kind of confusing. So again, you can start with your feet kind of a narrow hips distance, and then bringing the hands to the outside edges of the feet, sitting back. And this is what I mean. If you fall, you just fall back on your butt. Extending the legs forward. Maybe you just swing, and this is step one. If you want to try to extend one leg, you can, and then maybe both. So really strong through the shoulders, core, obviously hips. And see if you're here, hold for a few breaths. And then maybe practice coming out of it into your wide-legged forward fold. And that's where we'll meet. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments if you have any. Oh, hi, Jeff. Any thoughts or questions getting into these kind of funkier arm balances? But if you've had enough, we're meeting in our wide-legged forward fold again. Maybe pressing the tops of the hands down on the mat if that's accessible. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, walking toward the front of the mat. Find a flow if you want it, or meet in downward facing dog. And hold for 2 breaths. Feeling grounded and connected to your mat. So we'll walk the hands toward the feet. So taking your time. Then fold like a rag doll. Take a deep bend in through the knees. Maybe take a bind, placing the tops of the hands on the mat, and then the feet will come on the palms of the hands, and this is a nice relief for the wrists, especially after doing any arm balancing. Maybe rock forward and back. Inhaling. And on your exhale, slowly start to release. We're going to take a seat. Extending the legs forward, shake it out. If you have pretty tight hips or hamstrings, you might want to sit on a blanket so your hips are a little bit more elevated. We're going to take one of my favorite leg side body stretches. So bring your feet out about a mat's distance apart. We're going to bring our left foot to the inner thigh of the right leg. Slowly start to twist toward the bent knee. We'll start by grabbing a hold of the bent knee with the right arm. Reach the left arm up, and then exhale, hinge forward into a Janu Shirshasana shape. So if you can reach for your foot, you can do that as long as you keep your chest open. And if you'd rather not have the arm on the bent knee, you can always extend the bottom, the arm toward the leg, and then grab a hold of the feet. But wherever you're at, let's hold for 2 more breaths. Our inhale lifts us up. On the exhale, let's release the left hand behind the hip, coming into a modified wild thing. So we're gonna ground down onto this left hip and then reaching the arm back, opening up for a full body stretch. Inhale. And exhale, release. Then take it on the other side, extending both legs. Bring the right foot to the inner thigh of the left leg. Again, starting off twisting toward the bent knee. Inhale, extend the right arm up. Exhale, hinge forward. And again, if you'd rather not grab a hold of the knee, you can just extend this bottom arm forward. Really focus on grounding down through both hips, especially the opposite hip. So if it's lifting a little bit, just make sure it stays down. And inhale, reaching up. Exhale, release the right hand behind the right hip and grounding down into the right knee, opening up for a flipped dog. Extending through the heart. One more breath. Exhale, release. And shake it out. So we'll do one final kind of heart opener. Well, it is a heart opener, but engaging the shoulders is what I mean. So I'll give you two options. You can either just take reverse table with your knees bent and kind of figuring out where you should have your hands, maybe once you're lifted. So the hands should be just underneath the shoulders. And sometimes that's hard to tell when you're on the ground. So once you lift the hips, make sure that the hands are just underneath the shoulders, lifting the hips up nice and high. If it feels okay on the neck, you can fully release. And then noticing here, if you're kind of hunching through the shoulders, try to push down and away. So you can keep your knees bent, or if you want to do reverse plank, that's where you extend the legs. And the key here that I try to do is point my toes and keep my feet together. And I'm going to try to keep my toes on the mat or the floor. So then lifting up through the hips, I need to walk my hands farther back and then extend. So the hips are lifted. You'll feel the triceps. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, one more breath wherever you're at. Exhale, slowly lower down, shake it out. And let's come on to our backs. Maybe having a block nearby if you have one. Hug the knees in. Maybe rocking from side to side. Letting the spine connect down to the mat. Checking in with the breath. Let's take a spinal twist. Here's where you might like a block. You can place it in between the knees and kind of scooch the hips over toward the right as we drop our knees over toward the left. The arms can come to a T. Maybe the gaze shifts over toward the right. And we'll stay here for 5 to 10 breaths. Closing the eyes. Releasing any tension in the legs, in the toes, the fingers. Noticing how you're holding your tongue in your mouth. Noticing if you're clenching your teeth. And let's take it on to the other side. Slowly lifting the knees up. Exhale as you scoot your hips over toward the left. The knees will fall toward the right. And this time, maybe the gaze is over toward the left. And again, checking in with any tension, letting the body start to feel heavy. Lengthening the exhales. One final breath on this side. And inhale, slowly bringing the knees back into the center. Remove the block or prop if you're using it. And we'll do one final option here, either supported bridge with a block or a book or anything that you have. You can also just take normal bridge. Or if you have no neck or shoulder issues, you can take plow pose. So lifting the hips up, bringing the feet back. And then again, if you have no neck or shoulder issues, keep the gaze forward and not looking off to the side as you lift your hips into shoulder stand. So the legs can be kind of more like this at a 45-degree angle, or you can extend all the way up. Inhaling and exhale wherever you choose to be. We'll hold for 5 breaths. Again, continually scanning the body. Notice where you can release any unnecessary tension. And on your next exhale, slowly releasing. Maybe hugging the knees in toward the chest again. And we'll come into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So you can take Shavasana. I'll offer legs up the wall if you have a wall nearby. And you can just scoot your hips as close to the wall as you can get them and extend the legs straight up. And that's probably the most restorative yoga pose. I love it. Or you can just extend the legs forward, feet flop out naturally, arms can come off to the side of the hips or extending them back. And wherever you're choosing to be, once you're comfortable, closing the eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out through the mouth. Do that 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhale, side out. Last time. Exhale, side out. Staying. If you're on Instagram, will be cut off in about a minute, but please stay longer in your Shavasana. Just giving yourself a little peace this morning. Staying for maybe 10 to 20 breaths, or as long as you need, maybe up to 10 minutes if you can take that quiet moment. And I'll close out casually before we get cut off. Thank you all so much for joining me and moving and breathing this morning, and hopefully getting out of our heads and all our thoughts and getting into our breath and our body. As always, knowing that's always available to us throughout our day, just slowing down a little bit to take a few deep breaths. you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Namaste. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone on YouTube, on Instagram, and I'll see you next week. Bye.